Anybody want to be a voice actor here, or an actor, or you? Yeah, you? Yeah. And you know, it's a hard road. But you know, even when I was young, I knew it would be difficult. But I'm kind of like a little pit bull in a way where I'm very tenacious. You know, if you have a dream, and I just sometimes hold on so tight, you know, and I keep pursuing, even when there's a lot of dry spells. You know, 'cause you face a lot of rejection. Where you go to a lot of auditions, you don't get a lot of things, and sometimes you wonder why. And as I got older, I was able to just go, I audition, I do it, I leave, I let it go. If I get the part, I get the part. If I don't, I don't. You know, and that's how I think people stay mentally sane as an actor. I think the ones who go crazy, it's because they're so, you know, they take it so personal. Like, oh, I didn't get this part. I wonder why. Did I do good? Or I should have done it this way. You know, which doesn't help anything. You know, it's to me, it's more being in the moment. You know, at an audition, and then just let it go. If it's meant to be, it's going to happen. If not, it won't. There's some advice for you, future thespians. Anyone else?
Okay, between voicing from an anime or video games, which one do you like best?
Well, you know, I think I like anime because it's a storyline. You know, and as an actor, we tell stories, right? And I like because you can progress as a character. Your character can change and grow. Now, some video games are like that because of the cutscenes. So, like when I was in Final Fantasy, the Crystal Chronicles, I had set over 700 lines of things I had to do, which for a video game, you know, is a lot. A lot of times you'll have maybe, you know, a few where you're just grunting and groaning and, you know, fighting and that sort of thing. But this was a lot of cutscenes, so the cutscenes could actually be a full movie, you know. So that was fun. But I like doing the anime because of the storylines and that sort of thing. But I love any job I get. I'm always happy when I get a job as an actor. You know, to me, it's always a miracle because of just the odds are so much against you. So even if I get a small part, if I get a bigger part, I don't care. I'm happy. And I know the odds. You know, and I know so many people started and, you know, just never kind of did anything or never broke in and that sort of thing. You, sir, yawning. You have a question. Sure you do. Come on. Come on. What's your name?
Victoria.
Victoria. We didn't get your name. What's your name?
Chris.
Chris.
I forgot. Oh, I remember. Do you like do other types of acting too, or do you like just stick to voice acting?
No, I do. I was just on Victorious. Yes. I was on one of their episodes called Locked Up. I don't know, maybe they were in some third world country, and I was actually her lawyer, sniveling little lawyer. So you know, you never know. Like I just did a little short film where I played a Holocaust survivor, which was actually cool because he was a real person, and I had to, when I auditioned, the family members were there, which was amazing. You know. His grandchildren, and so because they wanted to make sure the film would really, you know, honor his memory, and so that was a real departure, you know, from anime and from Victorious, you know, doing a heavy dramatic type thing. I do Shakespeare in the Park in Los Angeles every summer, so I'll do whatever acting job. I've done commercials, a few films, Wind Talkers. I don't know if you know that with Nicolas Cage. I was in that. Alias with Jennifer Gardner. So you know, whatever. I was on Gene Simmons' Family Jewels, a reality show. I had to audition to play myself. So I'll give you a little secret about reality shows. So what they did was for this show, the whole thing was it was of course all set up. So what they do is see, in order to call it a reality show, it has to be a little bit of reality. And then they make the rest up. So what they did, I just auditioned for this part of a clothing store buyer. And I just had to improv it, no lines. You know, they don't write scripts on these things. And I got a call, I said, okay, you've got the part. So the whole thing was, the truthful part was the opening of a store on Melrose. So it was a real opening, real people. There was that thing, you know, where the stars stand and they take their pictures, you know, with the logos in the back. You've seen that, like on E! News or all that stuff. But the thing was that Gene Simmons supposedly hired a new intern. but he wasn't an intern, he was an actor. So, and the intern was supposed to go pick me up at LAX because I was flying in from New York. I live in Los Angeles. So they had to film me at LAX like I'm coming off the airplane and stuff, but, you know, fake. And then, but then we filmed it out of sequence. We filmed the ending first, and then a day later, a couple days later, we went back and we filmed the beginning. So that's kind of, I don't think reality's that way. We kind of live sequentially. But, so they pick me up in a limo, and they have all these beautiful girls in the limo, and I'm supposed to be conservative and uptight, you know, a little bit. And the guy, like, takes me around LA, and Gene Simmons is worried, you know, where's my intern? You know, and scared because I'm supposed to be interested in Gene Simmons' clothing line, that sort of thing. And then it's supposed to be the time of my life, right, that he gives me. Then I come to the party, and, you know, Gene Simmons shakes my hand, and he's, Darrel, nice to meet you, Darrel. You know, but I got to shake Gene Simmons' hand, which was kind of cool, you know. And then Chris Angel was in that episode as well. So it was kind of weird, you know. It was just like a weird experience because it was a real party, but everything else was so fake, you know. But that's reality TV.
How do you into like character for parts like depending on different parts?
For like the anime?
And like, does it differ for like different animes and movies?
Yeah, I mean with anime, you know, sometimes it takes a little while to find your voice. But usually if you're able to see the character in advance, we never get the script in advance. So sometimes that's a disadvantage because, you know, if you're reading a script, then you can sort of, you know, see where the character's going, how he's changing. So you have to sort of do it immediately, right then and there. You know, you go line by line by line. It's the first time you ever see anything. So you have to just be prepared emotionally and to know you may have to freak out that day, you may have to be extremely happy, you may have to be depressed, you might have to sneeze, you might have to throw up, you might have to, you know, there's all sorts of weird things that you have to do. But, you know, once you find your character, to me it's so easy to keep him up, you know, keep him going because you just start connecting. You know, I think like if you've trained as an actor, that's why I think theater training is so important for an actor. Because it helps you to identify with characters. It helps you to, you know, experience that life. So when I do the anime, I kind of feel like it's me. You know, not that it's me, Darrel Guilbeau, but you know, I feel you give a piece of yourself to it. You know, so even if it's an animated character, you still feel a sort of a heart connection, no matter what it is, because you're putting yourself into it. But I think for me, it's more of just how you see the character going and how you feel about him. I mean, you're going to get direction from the director. They're going to also help tweak who your character is and what he's going through. But you have to have your tools, you know, there. You can't just think, oh, okay, I'm just going to voice a character. A lot of people think, oh, I can do funny voices, you know, and it's more than just doing funny voices or that. You have to be able to connect and bring a real life to that character, no matter what it is. Did we get your name?
We got it.
Yeah. What's your name?
Yeah.
Makaya? Anybody else?
When did you know that you first started wanting to act or whatever?
Well, I was a little kid, and I have no idea why. I grew up in Louisiana, South Louisiana, so there was no one in the entertainment business or actors in my family at all. No one involved in any of that. I grew up in a Cajun family, so, you know, we were Cajuns eating crawfish and going to Mardi Gras and that sort of thing. But I remember being a little kid. I was maybe about 4, 5, or 6 or something like that. I remember watching an old movie on television, and I didn't understand it, but there was something like, I just felt like a connection in some kind of way, and I just knew after that, oh, that's what I want to do. But I didn't really say anything to anybody, you know, because it just seemed odd. I mean, how do you do that? Because it's so far away from my existence. And it just stayed with me, you know, I kept going and I started doing theater and, you know, joining the high school drama stuff. And, but I didn't think it was possible, you know, because I grew up in, Louisiana. I was like, how do you even make this happen? But I started writing, I guess I was in junior high, or I would write every summer. I would write to all the acting schools in New York and LA. I would just constantly write to get information. And, you know, because I guess in my brain I was thinking, one day I'm going to go to one of these acting schools. And one year, actually, I found out there was this agent named Mary Grady in Los Angeles. And she represented like young people, kids, and that kind of thing. And I kept writing to her because I never got a response. You know, my dream was, oh, she's gonna like call me over there. I'll go audition. I'll be an actor. And then finally, she actually wrote back to me, and this is like a long, long time ago. And she just gave me advice and said, you know, because I was very persistent. Actually, in my third or fourth letter, I said, I'm not going to stop writing until you answer me back. You know, and then she finally did. She sent me a nice letter, and I kept it for the longest time. When I moved to Los Angeles, I still had the letter with me. And years later, I was doing a play. And the funny thing was, this girl who was in the play, her agent was Mary Grady. And her agent came to see the play. And I didn't tell, you know, I had told the girl about this letter, but she didn't tell the agent. Then after the show, the agent told the girl that she wanted to meet with me. But she didn't know I had written her this, you know, I actually brought the letter with me because I knew she was going to be there that night. But I didn't see her that night. She wanted me to make an appointment. So I made an appointment. I brought the letter with me, and she read the letter. She goes, I'm signing you up. Because she says, I never write. You know, she was already interested in me from seeing me on the stage. But it was almost like 10 years later, you know, 15 years later, that I actually got to meet her. I mean, that was just the weirdest thing. I mean, sometimes I look at stuff, you know, you'll get little hints in life. Always, 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 no matter what you want to do, I really believe this. Like being in your present life, sometimes there'll be little clues that you don't expect. But I think sometimes people aren't aware that those clues are happening. And it doesn't mean that it's going to fix everything, because, you know, I had the agent, but, you know, I don't have her anymore. But it was still, for me, just another little clue of keep going, you know, keep pursuing, because everything is a step to something else. Like I've done plays where a year later someone remembered me for something and they'll recommend me. You know, so you never know where something is going to lead, you know. And sometimes it could be a negative experience, and then something good will come out of it, you know, even as an actor. So I try to stay open to whatever the possibilities might be.